guys, I know we are diving into fiscal policy, but I'm going to go back over it again. I just feel like since we're not seeing face to face, that good repeats and stuff will be good for us. So what we're going to look at is this chart. Right now, when we have cyclical unemployment above 5%, the phase of the business cycle we're in is a recession. Again, we have to have 6 months of data over that. And so when we're in a recession, the government, to counteract this recession where our economy is going down, right, in that business cycle, they don't want to contract the economy. They want to expand the economy. So they're going to do expansionary fiscal policy. Okay? And so in a recession, we know aggregate demand is down. Okay? So the goal the government wants, they want to do, Congress and the president, is to increase the aggregate demand. So people only demand more if they have more money in their pocket. So the government is going to decrease the taxes and increase government spending. Okay, so you're like, okay, how is the government going to tax less but spend more? That is not wise, right? When you spend more than what you have. And so the effect on our budget is that this leads to a deficit. And this is currently the policy that our government is doing with the stimulus package today. We know that we are in the phase of the business cycle, that we're sort of in a recession. We know we have to have 6 months of data. But we see that people are being furloughed. People are not working. Businesses are closing down. That is recession. So the government came in with expansionary fiscal policy. They want to increase aggregate demand. And so one of the things that the government has done is they're going to create a stimulus package for people, for businesses that have been greatly affected by the recession or this COVID-19. And so the effect on this, because the government is not taking in all the money from the people right now because it can't tax them, the government is going to run a deficit. And we know that the stimulus package is about $2 trillion to add on to the debt that we currently have amassed. Okay, so the other side is the demand pull inflation. When we have it over 3%, we know we're in an expansion. And that is our business cycle going upward, right? And so in order to tame this so that inflation doesn't get too high, the government is going to interact a policy to contract the economy. So it's called contractionary fiscal policy. So people, if we're expanding, we know that the aggregate demand is high. And so what the government wants to do is bring down that aggregate demand. There's too many dollars in too many people's pockets, and that's causing prices to go up. So to get that money out of people's pockets, they increase the taxes, they decrease government spending. And so now, because the government is taking in money, the government is running a surplus. I don't know if you saw that. I'm sorry. Okay. So the last thing is stagflation. It's called cost push inflation. We know that the phase of the business cycle is a contraction. In this phase of the business cycle, we are having high unemployment coupled with high inflation. We know this happened in the 1970s. So neither of these policies right here, which I just did, can handle both of these problems. They could only handle one side or the other. This is Keynesian model. And so what we're going to be looking at is supply side. And in supply side, this is supply side, they're going to say affect the supply. They said if you affect supply, if you increase the aggregate supply, supply will make its own demand, and the goal is that aggregate demand will go up. If we affect businesses and they supply more, people have jobs, people have money, okay? So how do we affect the supply? Well, one of the things, it's 3Ds. They're going to decrease taxes. They're going to decrease government spending. And the last one I'm going to put over here is they're going to deregulate. So in supply side, decrease taxes, decrease government spending, deregulate. Okay. we know that this will lead to a deficit because they're not taking in that money at this moment. Okay, these are our policies. What I'm going to be doing is graphing the impacts of what it does with y'all.